Hello and welcome to episode 37 of the Knotted Knits podcast. I'm your host Amy, and this is my weekly check-in on the projects and progress that I have made on my knitting adventure. Today is Friday. Friday, January 10th, 2025, and I have 3 projects that I've worked on in the last week that I will be sharing with you today. For a most up-to-date and behind-the-scenes look at my progress on my projects and just my day-to-day life, you can find and follow me on Instagram as the_knotted_knitter. There will be show notes in the description box below, which will have the patterns, yarn dyers, bag makers listed with their websites and links. Before we get started on what I have worked on, let's talk about what I'm wearing, because I do have knitwear on today because it has been incredibly cold here in Pennsylvania. So I am wearing my Neon Nectar, which is a pattern by Wool and Pine Designs. And you all know, if you are a returning viewer, that Wool and Pine Designs is one of my most favorite designers, and I test knit for them quite often. This pattern is no exception. I knit this, oh gosh, last year. The yarn is Dirty Talk by Hugh Loco, and it's a DK weight top-down sweater. It has some fun little details here on the shoulders and just that cozy Friday sweater, and that's what I needed today. And now we can get started with what I've been working on. The first project that I've worked on over the last week is my first finished pair of socks for 2025, and they are my Rye Socks by Tin Can Knits, and I knit this pattern using yarn from TheSheepyshire in the Christmas Jammies colorway. The Rye sock pattern is written, I think it's in 7 or 8 sizes. It starts with a 1x1 cuff and then has a knit and purl texture panel that runs down the front of the sock. I knit this pair of socks and all of my other socks that I will talk about on US 0 9-inch circular needles. I do switch to addi Flexy Flyers when I get to working my toady creases, or if I have another 9-inch circular available, I'll use 2 9-inch circulars for my toes. They are my first finished pair of socks for the year. I am going to keep much better count on how many pair of socks that I knit this year, and doing a weekly video is going to help me just keep better track of that. And I'm happy that they are finished. This was my final skein of yarn, of Christmas yarn from TheSheepyshire. I think I still have one Christmas theme skeined yarn left in my stash, but a little bit about the yarn. It is a 75/25 superwash merino nylon on a 100-gram skein at 460 yards. I have roughly 40 grams left. Something else I want to do better on this year is this. I love how neat and tidy this is. And with trying to keep track of my minis, but also be able to do swaps throughout the year, I would like to keep the ball band with the mini skein. I did snap the label and then just taped it so it does fit snugly and securely around the ball. That is also the only project that I have finished this week, but I have been working on 2 other things. The second project that I've been working on is in my mystery Christmas animal bag. I've had this for quite a while. I do not know who made this bag, unfortunately. The second project that I have been working on is a sock set from Hoard Yarns, and it is the Glinda Sock Set. And I've gotten quite a bit done on this pair of socks since I recorded last week. I think I was maybe just about to start the heels, or I had started the heels, and I was able to knit both legs on this pair of socks. I have roughly 20 more rounds to go on the second sock. So the first sock I've already switched over to my Addi Flexy Flyers, which I do like. I know people have mixed opinions on them. I like them. If you aren't familiar with what the Flexy Flyers look like, unlike a traditional 9-inch circular needle that just has a little bit of the needle and then a smooth cable the whole way through, the Addi Flexy Flyers come in a set of 3 and have a little, very, very little flexible cable in the middle. So you can still work in the round on a small circumference, and this is how I do my toes. So that is sock number 1, ready for the toe. And sock number 2 I was able to work on this a little at lunch, so I might only have about 10 or so rounds to go. And I have a cute iridescent or holographic marker on there that Sue gave me as part of my swap package when I was doing the Monster Muscle Burrow knit along. So the third color, the contrast color for the toes, will be this pretty cream color, and I do hope to have this pair of socks finished this weekend. After I finish this pair of socks, I won't have socks on the needles, and that has me thinking about what project I want to cast on next for my portable knitting. And I'm thinking about a hat. I was looking on Ravelry over the past couple of days and think I found one that I like, but I'm not quite sure. Tuesday evenings I have knitting time where I need a small and portable project. So socks have been my go-to, but I'm thinking that maybe I might cast on a hat that isn't a muscle burrow hat and really go wild. The third project that I have worked on this past week is in my bag from Mrs. Brown's Bags, and it is my test knit for Wool and Pine Designs. They have a new pattern that will be released in February, and it is a top-down sweater. I am using Dirty Water Dye Works fingering weight yarn. The project calls for 3 skeins for the size I'm knitting, which is a size 44-inch bust. And I think I will be okay with the 3 skeins, but I'm really curious to see once I get to knitting the sleeves what my yarn situation is going to look like. The project is knit in pieces. It is top down, and when I was working on it and gave a little peek of it last episode, I was so excited and feeling so good about this project because I only had a couple of inches to go, and posted on the Discord group chat of how pretty the pattern looked, how happy I was with all of my work, only to have it pointed out that I missed a crucial part of the instructions. So what I needed to do was rip out 13 inches of knitting. When you're knitting on a deadline, that is kind of devastating and made me feel slightly defeated. Now I want to show you without showing you what the pattern looks like. So I'm going to show you the back of the sweater. So this is the wrong side. So I missed casting on 22 stitches here. So I have cast those stitches back on, and I was able to knit about 4 inches on the body of this sweater. So that is a saga that is going to continue. I have, I think, 3 weeks to work on that sweater, to have it finished, to have the project page updated, pictures taken, everything like that, for it to be done. Right now I'm feeling pretty confident that I will be able to have it done. I don't have any plans tomorrow, which is Saturday, so I'm hoping to spend a good bit of tonight, Friday night, knitting on the front panel, and a good bit of time tomorrow, Saturday, working on the front panel as well. Sunday we have plans to go to a hockey game, and I don't know that I'm going to take knitting with me. In the past I have taken knitting with me to the hockey game, but I don't know if I'm going to do that or not. Dill has hopped in to say hi. I'm sure you guys can hear him purring, and I do apologize. He's just here for his afternoon cuddle because I did just get home from work. So we're snuggling together for a little bit also. But those are the 3 projects that I have worked on this past week. I'm really enjoying all of them. I'm happy with the Rye Socks and how pretty they look. I am loving the Glinda pair of socks, and even with all of the complications and difficulties of the test knit sweater, I'm enjoying working on that too. So that's the knitting content, which means this is going to be a relatively shorter episode, and I think that might be kind of normal as I do weekly check-ins, especially working on such a large project as a sweater. I'm not going to have necessarily tons of progress that I can share week to week, and I hope you are okay with that. But that's why I want to have a small and portable project on the needle, so we do have something else to chat about when I am working on one big project. But for a quick update of life and what's going on, I did start a new book and trying to set myself goals to read a little bit more for the new year and or listen to audiobooks. And I did start the 3rd Gilmore, which is the memoir written by Kelly Bishop, and I'm only a few pages in. I think I've read 1 chapter so far. It is very good. I love the introduction that was written by Amy Sherman Palladino, and I'm just excited to read more of Kelly Bishop's story. Watching, I have to say, Lillian and I have been watching Outer Banks together. She had asked to watch it last year, and I felt like she was a little young to watch it, and I finally said, okay. You know, I knew a lot of her friends had watched it, and the ages of her friends range quite a bit, and I knew some of them had watched it, but I told her, okay, we can watch it, but we have to watch it together. And you guys, I am invested in this show. I think I'm enjoying it more than she might be. It is that, you know, sappy teen drama type of show. Reminds me very, very much of, you know, Dawson's Creek, which was a show that I watched when I was a teenager, and so I think it's kind of taking me back to my younger days. But she and I are watching that together. That's been the main show that I have been watching, has been the Outer Banks. This week was sort of our acclimation to the normal routine with school and work. Monday was a snow day. We didn't get much snow. It was kind of disappointing. to be honest. I was a little disappointed, but to everyone who's in the southern part of the United States right now, I hope you are safe and warm because you guys are getting snow, and I know that is not your normal weather. We have a sister location for the company that I work with in Georgia, and they were closed today because of the weather. So to all of my friends who are in the Texas, Kentucky, Georgia region, I hope you guys are safe and warm. And we're going to wrap this episode up. Thank you for watching. If you are a returning viewer, I'm glad you came back to spend a little bit of time with me. And if you are a new viewer, thank you for stopping by and checking out this podcast. As I said, I'm coming into the new year with hopes of making this a weekly check-in. I know this was a shorter episode. I hope you guys like that. And if you do, give me a thumbs up. Share the video with your knitting friends. Consider subscribing to this channel. Until next time, everyone stay safe. Happy knitting. I'll see you soon. Bye.